as always lately, just scanning through THOR. The big thing that I like to do is just keep it simple, use as minimal TA as possible. Just not to say dumb it down, but just to make it, not to overcomplicate things. Sometimes I have too many indicators, too many things going on that I just become more indecisive, or I rely on one a little too heavily. So I just kind of have my money on THOR. Let's see, I guess we'll just start with Sol. Why not? It's been fun. Another just up and up. And for that, sometimes I do like to, sometimes it's fun to match the time frame with the call that I'm looking up. Some 15-minute time frame. Just gonna look at the 15-minute chart on Sol. Let's see. I got the long at 184. That's 4.1. And again, something that I like to do tends to be, I just kind of go for the top. I mean, especially when it's a smaller range like that. Unless it was like 184 going to 179, maybe I would work on the top, bottom order, or just doing a mid, just the average middle. But tend to like the top and bottom a lot. This one right here, yeah, I would just throw it at the, yeah, that works. Be sold at 187. So kind of where we're at right now. And that's one thing too. Sometimes if I don't have anything on my chart already, just kind of building it up and sitting down and looking at THOR, I do like, to have, yeah, it just kind of paints the range for me. So it makes more sense if I just start throwing up calls that I see are a little more substantial. And you got 157, because sometimes those lower time frames are good in short action, but of course the longer ones and higher ones. So I get the 1 hour, and I like to change it too, because I kind of can see the kind of resistance points up there, or maybe kind of a support zone on the smaller. Then you kind of start zooming out, and I can start to see, it paints that bigger picture. Of course, that's a fun little short I have to dig down for. Not short, a long. 156, and it TP's around like, let's say 176. That's a, and that call is something I wouldn't say brush off to the side, but something that I'm not going to be immediately concerned with right now either. So I just kind of painted a lighter color. I don't know, it doesn't stick out too much in the charting. And then of course the fun ones. So you go, oh no, 150. I think even on the 4 hour, yeah, it kind of pushes you down to even 190. I keep that in mind. I guess I could throw that up down there, but I'm not too concerned at the moment. Until we start hitting that 150 or going below that, then I'll acknowledge it more. But it's good to say, hey, what's up? There's a 90 there. I don't know. It does kind of shake me out of using a little higher leverage on a fatter amount of capital. And then you can see these guys, what is it, the 4 hour, 156. We'll do that, okay. I'm gonna go, oh damn, that's why. Let's do the longer time frame with the 4, because it's a bigger one. So from there, what is that? Good, because quickly it can become a little crowded sometimes too, but I like to see if there's like a confluence with some of the calls, which you see 156 on the 1 hour, then on the 4 you have 153, 156, cool. I kind of just put that together. That's almost a little more supportive of that zone for me. And then I could see what, like the 176 we have right there. So if we were to go down there, we would probably looking at the 176 to kind of tap up to, at least for that trade. So that's a little range I could see at worst there. What gives me a signal, I guess we could, before we get into that, you could acknowledge that 120. If we're gonna look at the 90 and the 156, you gotta say what's up to the 242, which I would love. Let's see. It's got one up there. We'll just do a little red for the short. And then probably more realistic and more likely to happen more on a shorter time frame would be kind of an upper zone there too, like 290. And it kind of bounces down. We can look at the TPs there, 180, lower or upper 170s there. So this zone kind of seems to be the median point almost, if you will. Kind of just from looking at all those calls, it seems like if it goes down to 156, it wants to come to 176. If it goes up to 200, Thor's kind of saying, hey, it wants to probably at some point, you know, go through these guys too, but it looks like everything's kind of pointing towards there, which, you know, on a side note, helps me for LPing or something like that. If I want to probably start a hold around there and then be ranging between these guys for a while. That's what I would get out of that too, which would be pretty cool. What I would do, and then you kind of have to switch the time frames because we're looking at that in a 15-minute. It's kind of fun to have all those now. I have kind of an idea at the top edge short, and in just doing that, I have a nice little graph telling me, hey, this is a TP for if we hit there. That's the TP for if we get around there. But I kind of like that. It kind of shows me that this is probably pretty damn strong support or resistance if we were to go down. Yeah, I'm not totally in an active soul trade besides tap or just holding. So it's kind of gives me a cool idea that we're at a fun zone, and probably it's a solid one right there at the 184, just to take a little quick scalp trade there. But I wouldn't go super heavy, of course, into that 184 because as we learned, you know, you can slip down there. So heavy leverage would kind of suck for that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting out of those THOR calls right now for Sol. All right, and then kind of going back to render here. Got the range, something I painted earlier and something I've had kind of going on the past couple weeks from previous trades, but now I'm gonna go into this and kind of update it and see, get rid of this guy, see how it's doing. So I tried to get some buys there. There was a THOR call a bit ago. I think it was yesterday. Missed it barely. I think I had that other line sitting there, but it didn't hit. It was a little too low, whatever. Plus drift, being drift, it's kind of hard to hit those sometimes. So looking here, you got that one. Let's scoot this guy up. 187. Okay, let's see. Let me do that. Good old. Hey. So yeah, the TP3, if you were to go down there and hit that 1080 on the 15-minute time frame, I guess we'll keep it real there. Kind of looks like we're headed there. That's somewhere I'd be down to pick up. But again, kind of looking at that, I could, you know, maybe I'll dip into this a little bit. But I kind of also know this is hanging around the corner. I did see the 4-hour at 9:44, which would be good to acknowledge there, of course. 9:40, 9:45 to 9:27. That's kind of like to throw it on the top ends there, but it's good to make note of that. So I think, okay, what did I do for this trade? All right, I sold a bit at, I think it was 180, this kind of top edge there, somewhere around that zone, where we kind of shaved off a bit to try and catch a dip. Then I realized it keeps on dipping, so I did put a stop loss because I did see, like last night or something that popped up, I put a stop loss around, I think like it was 5% up from my buy-in, so at least if it I felt like it was going down, but to still be exposed to the upside, I left it in, took some profits, but hey, I'll at least take that 5%. It does look like it's going down, but knowing that I can rebuy lower, it just really helps me. With a bag already, I could see that there were some new lower time frame long calls. Those sometimes to me kind of not a bearish signal, but it's, hey, in the short term, I might not have as much momentum to get up to that TP as I thought, because what I like to do is kind of use the short calls as kind of target points for me. So it's not as, it's on a different kind of range than you would typically see. Like if I wanted to do the 9.44 up to here, of course it probably isn't validated at 10.32. But hitting that zone, I would want to work my way up there if it was not invalidated. But I do know that there's a lot of calls that are going for 13.3 zone or the 12.1. So I feel like, again, there's some confluence that shows me that, hey, we should likely hit that zone. But of course, I'm looking at all these calls and it's 10.32, 10.01, 10.01. So it seems like at, was it the 10.32 or 10.01? We'll do the higher one. This will be like a, let's pick a color, whatever. That's going to be, oh, sorry. Let's see. Whatever color, it doesn't matter. I can't use the same one. Use purple. Cool, that's our invalidation line. So what I would see that as, it's kind of cool. This is probably an important note that just popped up for me. So we had this zone where it's a TP for 1080. And as this kind of comes down, I hope it comes back up. But the 1030 zone is pretty significant as an invalidation line because that starts breaking down all of these short calls, which, you know, kind of tells me, okay, now it doesn't have like a top where it wants to tell me. Now it's going to be invalidated. So that kind of gives me less, you know, security that this is going to be a zone that we hit on a shorter time frame. I don't want to be married to these kind of trades. At least in this regard, I'm speaking of more scalping, more flipping, not just that long hold. But you know, I just don't want it to be more than a couple weeks. You know, I want to keep churning it because sometimes the opportunity cost, I'll be missing something else that's going up while I'm stuck here losing some cash otherwise because I'm stubborn. But this kind of gives me signals of what to look out for. I want to hit that and go up. If it doesn't, it could range down. You know, Thor's kind of course action. So if it gets to 1060, that was another big zone things were hitting. That's okay for me too. But I would be kind of concerned there too if I was leveraged that it hits there. But just speaking, if it hits and breaks that invalidation, that gives more support to this 945 call. And then I'd kind of start rearranging my charts because I feel like it broke the range that we've been in for a couple weeks now. Yeah, we've been in that above that 10 for a while, ranging under the 12, kind of hitting above that. But yeah, that's something I would be looking at for this trade. For me, I would get a bag there and hope it goes back up to the target point of 1124. Probably like 15 or 20% sell there, and 12.40 was just a nice zone. I left that on the chart because it was a good target point for a lot of other plays that kept hitting. So I like that. I left it there. And then 13.22, I probably would actually sell most of the bag there for this trade at like 13.05, just nudging it down, especially when they're in the higher ones. If I miss it by 10 or 20 cents, whatever, I would hate to miss that higher TP just because I wanted 10 more cents or another % or two. Can't get too greedy when you're up like that. But hey, this thing could just shoot up to go into 15 or something. It probably will later. I don't know. If I knew, I probably would have bit more liquidity to throw into Kira. Sweet. Unless there's any questions or ideas on the render chart there. Just go on to the next.
Kita.
Just want to say you totally nailed the pronunciation, man. You're making strides each week, and we're proud of you.
Yeah,
Grinder.
thanks, man. Yeah, just take a big breath in a couple seconds and, you know, center myself
Thank God
to not
and
say
God.
Rinder. Like, it literally goes on my head.
Rinder.
Don't say
Also
Rinder.
PTSD.
Grinder.
You're doing great.
Let's see.
What do you think of Render as Render as a long-term, as a longer-term play, or are you only interested in trading at ranges here?
I liked it, and honestly, for me, I was doing the trades. I also was in the little DLMM pool for Meteora between these orange lines. I think I shortened the range a little bit here by now, I think, whatever, but I've been ranging there. And for me, actually, when I was getting the fees, I've been holding those more. So those, I feel like the ones I'm generating from like fees and whatnot is more of a spot hold for me, and something, yeah, I think with all the AI and first I faded it for a while, but I could see why it's looking into it more. I could see why it has a bit more of a use case, and I don't know where all this AI stuff's going, if it's not just a bubble or something, but hey, it looks damn strong, so it's fun to trade too when there's volume. Yeah, no, I've been digging this.
Is that all that's missing for some of these THOR calls is volume? Because I noticed none of them really hit in a while, right? We're just ranging in this little.
Yeah, I think we're ranging. It's a volume. It could be. I mean, it's just.
There's been a 4-hour and a 1-day for a while, and nothing's hit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's all to do with the the volume. It does help when there's a lot of volume, but I think I don't know. I think just needs that move, because everything's kind of starting to get really really tight. So I think we're getting ready for one of those bigger moves, like that wick down, or that like a wick up or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun, but I've been digging it. I think the volume would be nice, but I think there might be a little more to it with the pressure. I think it's just even right now or something. I think we need one fat finger or something to go through.
Are there any other AI coins on Sol that you've been looking into?
I honestly, I'll be real. If it's not on THOR, I'm probably not looking into it too much. But yeah, no, I'm open to hearing about some. But I just kind of been rocking these. I know when I go solo, I always remind myself how much more fun I have when THOR's telling me what to do.
What are your 3 most traded pairs? Have you noticed a pattern in that recently?
Yeah, so recently, yes, there are trends. I'll bounce around between some, and I think a couple weeks ago I was going on about AVAX, and I wish I could be in everything, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty fun for a bit, and it was ranging, and I feel like sometimes when you follow THOR, you have an extra amount of time, to really look at those 15-minute or 1 hour, even the 4-hour. Sometimes THOR is just so, it's great, but sometimes it's even more on the money with just hitting those zones and going up and down, hitting the longs, hitting the shorts. And for me, I could also see it was pretty bullish movement. So you have an idea of where it's showing you where it's going, and it's sometimes THOR locks in a range. And that's why I really like to see some. I'll just try and find it. I thought this one had it. Probably not.
Yo, what up, Dregz?
What up? But yeah, for my favorite ones this week right now to trade has been, what's it? Injection, render. Yeah, render and this one here have been the ones that I've been actually doing the bigger trades, like putting more capital into, because I've been really liking the way they have been moving. I think that, where is it? I switched the chart over here. And why? That's because, let's do the 4 hour. For me, yeah, let's see, 2, yeah. I think it started a little bit ago when there was a call that kept getting hit. It was a 4 hour, and it was sitting right around like the 360 zone to like 34, or like, sorry, 35. It hit it a lot. So on a couple different days, it went down there, went back up, and there's a bunch of calls in between that kind of guided you through it. I was really, my main moon mission for my bag is the 45, the short we're looking at here on the 4 hour chart. This has been here since what, 320, so yeah, about 8 days. Yeah, so the last week, I think I've been honing in on this one, hoping to catch that short, but in keeping that 34 zone in mind, that's when maybe it's a bust. And then again, you could kind of see, hey, 34, it's like 34.1. Another, I'll just take this line out. Yeah, you can kind of tell too when you put that invalidation line that that's just right at the breaching of any kind of support there, at least in that zone. So I would say if it broke that invalidation, I guess that 35 is not good. Oh, I thought that was lower. Never mind. Yeah, that's a good zone too to buy in, but no, I don't really have low short call or low long calls on THOR right now for injection. Oh, there it is. I thought there was one. So yeah, this is what I thought. Yeah, there's something that was kind of on the back of my mind lately. I think that was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday it popped through with this. I think that's a pretty steep little fall there, which would suck for my trade. Yeah, 35%. But from the local top, I think it also just recently fell. What was that? 25? Yeah, almost 30% already. So, damn. I guess it could fall if everything else in the market was slipping down too. That's one of those, I'd imagine, scam wiki kind of things going on. But
is that 1 day from the local top? Will that happen to be a 60% drop?
Yeah, that would be, yeah, if you went from there to the top there, that's about, 50% drop. So I feel like it's already shaved off a lot, kind of been ranging here. So when we do see these kind of lower calls, it's good to be mindful, but that just tells me I'm probably not going to put heavy leverage on my way up. I'm not going to go above 2 or 1.5 personally, just because the bag is larger. So one, I don't want to risk too much. So if I see that, I kind of get less, my boldness goes away. My confidence is kind of lessened when I see that, but I try to see how much it's fallen already, and that's a 50% dip from the local top. So that might be a little more ways out. But yeah, just good to keep in mind. But I think that local area, that's something that would probably set off the alarm if it went under 34. That's probably when I just want to figure out the new range again. And then currently, yeah, I think I actually, I think I totally, no, I still have some, I think I have some still at like the 34, 35, 60. I think that's where we're going. Probably my average is sitting at right now. So yeah, for me, I think after there was a sell here and it had some shorts at this 39.02 line, I think I lessened it up a bit to hopefully have more of the bag to buy down here. So I think I just 0.5 leverage, and then hopefully fill that up once I get down to that 35 buy. Which would which kind of tells me, hey, that's going to be right around where my average is anyway, so it's just going to be loading up more. I think this is a previous call, actually, a previous long call for the 34, so I'll just get rid of that because it's been invalidated, and I'll probably focus on this a lot more. I also see a new short call came in since I last did the chart. Since this one was a previous call for me, I think I'm just going to rearrange this one. So some things I rearrange, some things I keep, but this seems like a better spot to take that bag too. Unless I hit 34, then I need to rethink some stuff. Maybe have a little stop loss going up here, just because I'm really gonna lose confidence if we break down like through the 34 line. But that's why, again, really love invalidation calls. They're kind of put off in the they're not like bold or anything, but I feel like they're pretty cool when you start looking at them a little more intrinsically, or what roles they play in like just a confidence of that short or longs. But yeah, that's a good one there.
Yeah, ever since I've been using horizontal lines, it's even easier to see how just like you mentioned, invalidations or just previous TPs end up being like resistance points or support.
I mean, yeah, just looking at that line where that short is, it's like you could do some TA, you could be a good chart reader, but I just I hit that upper zone of the short. I'd probably TP a little shorter at the 53, like I was saying, views and drift, but just throwing that line there, you already caught. When you look at it, you're like, oh, look at that. There's a pattern and a reason why there's a line there. I mean, you could do TA to figure that out, or you could just see it, but hey, we didn't need to do anything besides look at some numbers and put a horizontal line on the chart. It can be that easy. No.
It's like a cheat.
Yeah. It's like we got something here. Let's see. I think one in the zone right now, which is probably a fun conversation. Let's go Bitcoin. No pop a BTC there, and yeah, look at that right away. We'll just get to the action. We're in it. Nice little short, a couple of them, the 1 hour.
Are you trading Bitcoin on Drift?
On Drift? Yeah, you could trade it on Drift. I currently am not. I think I concentrated it all to the two render and the injection, but I think I've been in injection, and I think I'll probably pivot from rendered to something like this. I mean, this looks pretty. I don't know. I'd want to tap that BTC short there, probably the higher one. I know these are looking good, but it's not. It doesn't look entirely impossible for you to tap there, and I think it's good to note again. Where is it? The good old 81K.
That thing is still kicking.
That thing's still floating there, unless we get below. Was that 62K? Yeah. Or. Yeah.
I'm in a short right now on Drift.
Nice.
And yeah, Drift is a little bit slower, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, Drift is pretty slow on that, but it does get a lot more volume. It's one of the larger volumes on Drift, so I do like trading with that on there. Usually get filled a little more likely, but yeah, that's so oof. I'd want to take that. I'd want to take that short. That looks fun, but that I'm too much of a wuss to take some heavy bets on that one right there. I mean, because I just want this so much.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so it's like
why go through the trouble?
Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing's worse than something like that. Because then it gets up to 81, and then you're kind of crying in the back of your head
Yeah,
because you
wedged in.
you're like, oh, I'm happy for you. Glad that happened for you.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course you got the 80, and then you also got that 52 on the 1 day, which gets blown out though at 72, pretty much there. Which I think, since you're so close to that, I'm probably gonna ignore that one. Much less like the other shorts we were looking at in the other 2 graphs and charts. This one's I don't know, since we're so close to an invalidation line, I'm not too worried about that one. Until this zone, sometimes these zones go away and they keep popping up, like, oh, another 53, another 52, another 55, and they keep getting invalidated. But I kind of take heed to seeing like a new call getting replaced by an invalidated one. It's just kind of another little footnote that I like. But yeah, what were
you saying? You favor newer call? Correct me if I'm wrong. You mean you favor newer calls than ones that were invalidated? I don't know if I got that correct.
Yeah, it's the frequency, I guess. So if we had a 1 day call and then this one, got invalidated, and then we're in the 72 area, and then you see another call pop up like that, and it gets invalidated at 74. It's just something, if I see like new ones pop up in a new motion, then I kind of go, okay, I've seen that where they had like a long, and it's just like, hey, it still might happen. So I get, I guess I'm not saying it's a for sure thing, but I listen to it more than, but right now, that would change my mind from right now where I'm doubtful we'll hit that in the short term motion, just because we're so close to that invalidation.
To that 72, yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah, so that's one of those things like, okay, I probably mess around with some other stuff, but it's also just charts that I've been looking at a lot, and I end up trading more. Sometimes I see not crazy ranges, so it's like, hey, you want to set up for Bitcoin and stuff, and that's why for me I usually trade with like a spot bag, or more often than not I'm trading with the Sol BTC. When I trade Bitcoin, I don't really put it into USDC. If I am trading, I am turning it into Sol, and using these charts. And actually that's probably a better way to go because I'm more involved in that. So with the let's see, Sol BTC, so right now we were in an active short call. Thankfully that hit, and I was able to jump out of that. I think I was in it for months, it felt like, I think since January, but I think I entered a trade and it had a THOR call, and the THOR call went south. It was, was it January, February? Yeah, damn. I think it was right around here. I bought in, and then it dipped down, and I was like, oh shit. It went down low again, and I was, getting a little bummed. But hey, I was just waiting for that THOR call back at 0.003, and really stoked it made it back up, because I put like 90% of my BTC bag in that. I believe in Sol, but I also wanted my Bitcoin back. But now we are here, and now I have BTC to turn back into Sol again. Right after that was a TP for me, and not shorting, but we're going down. And honestly, when you're shorting with this, it's you could look at it differently in that you're actually just buying Bitcoin with Sol here, and then you could trade back in at the TP for Bitcoin back. And for me, what did I do? Or I think it was vice versa. Anyways, we hit this point up here. I'm letting it drift down. This TP1 for me at the 0025, the 25 mark. That was a big one for me there. Not only, that's where I first started when I looked at that call. That's where I wanted to re-enter. Of course, you have the 22. So that's why after seeing this call, was it? Yeah, on the 19th, we got another 25 long call, which I like to see in a different way, that matches with this TP1 from the 1 day short. The 1 day short looks like it's in motion. It looks like it's doing what it says it's going to do, and it's going to be going down. That's awesome. I think we're really close to that 25 mark. I'm going to put 40 to 50% there because I do see that TP3, but I feel like because we have this 1 hour call long at the 25 right through here, and it TPs again at like the 27.7, you know. So that would be for me another target point to hit. So this target point's also important because, well, what do we have here? A bunch of shorts that are in that area. So that kind of affects maybe where I would take my TP from here. This 27.7 doesn't look as likely because there's shorts at the 27.2, 27.6, and another 27.6. That's cool. But I'd probably try and shoot for that one in the long. I'd save it because I didn't go heavier with that kind of Sol BTC bag. Just because I still see that 24 and 22 on the TP for the 1 day. The 1 days are just so strong, and over time they do seem to hit unless something crazy happens otherwise. But for me, what I see with that, and that 22 was to hit,
Hey, my bad, Dregz.
Yeah,
you said that, so I personally haven't grasped a boatload of 1 days aside from like earlier this month or last month when volatility was crazy. But are you saying that with 1 days you've noticed that the TP3s often have a higher hit rate?
I would say they have a higher, I guess it's hard to
Gauge
say
it,
for
of
sure,
course,
gauge, because there's other
from your
things
experience
that happen. Yeah, my experience is, what I would see is the 1 day call was this yellow line at the top. It hit. And I imagine it's going to go down here, and that's its TP1. And I imagine because there's a long call, it goes up here. But I feel like that's a good point for me to switch back, because just because it went up back to that 27 doesn't mean it can't go back down to that 22 or 24, which is another TP for that. This is just a TP1, 25 is just TP1 for that. And not to say that wouldn't, it could just go there and go up and change direction, but because 1 days, especially when they're looking like they're correlating with what it says it's doing so far, I tend to believe it on a longer term. So it could be
makes sense.
2 weeks. Yeah, it could be like 2 weeks from now where I'd have to maybe remind that. But that's why I kind of like setting it up, and I'm not going all in because I don't know when it's going to go down. But I do want to just de-risk myself from the fact that there's a 1 day saying a target point that's lower, that 24 or 25. But these seem to have some really kick-ass ranges. I know we're looking at these kind of, those decimal. You kind of get lost. Where is that? Yeah. And stuff like that ends up being, a nice little 10% trade, or 20. Tends to be, I find more of these 10% and up on these kind of Sol BTC, which is pretty fun because, if you're bullish on both, then why not trade with both? Even when I was down from January, from the trade, I was still up compared to the USDC. So I was actually in a trade going south, but my account's worth was still going up. That is why
that's
I
funny.
love that shit. Yeah, that's why I do love it. It's like, damn it, oh man, I'm getting less BTC percentage, but the value's going up, so I'm not too stressed. That's what's fun, especially when it's little bullish movements to do that. But yeah.
Did you found a place to trade this?
Oh yeah.
That is not a central exchange.
No, yeah, no. I've been looking. It's really we're waiting on that wormhole of the Zeus. If they got something, just everyone together doing something. I think. Yeah, we're still waiting.
Okay.
I would like to.
When BTC pair perps on Dexes.
Right. Oh man, that'll be a great day. I'm surprised it's just not more. I'm not surprised, but I'm just surprised there isn't as much kind of the soul pairs. That's something I'd like to see maybe in the future too, is us having some more like render soul or BONK soul, or trading between those assets, and especially since we're on the Solana ecosystem a lot. That'd be cool to see. So you could stack up the soul bag or see how their assets are comparing to each other. And that's another thing that I like doing, is kind of the Soul BTC is kind of gauging the kind of dominance or strength of the asset against the other. So I kind of feel like I'm where I want to go with it. There's a lot of, like, the short, just means, what is that? Yeah, Soul's going to lose a little bit of strength against BTC, or BTC is just going to shoot up while Solana remains a similar price. Or Solana, I guess Solana would go down in price too, and BTC stays the same. So there's a couple ways to look at it, but if this is going down, then I'd probably be looking more into scooping up, scooping up Soul, yeah. It's kind of hard to put your mind frame right when you're looking at a couple of these.
I don't know if this is unrelated, but for the BTC pairs, let's just say Soul BTC for the sake of argument, because not all exchanges obviously utilize or incorporate them. Is it because it's costly, and you see exchanges like Coinbase,
it's liquidity. I think it's more.
Okay.
That's a liquidity thing. So if you go to Jupiter, Jupiter's pretty cool with it, and I've noticed that with the charts when I'm trying to. Let's just do what we're talking about. Rat BTC and Soul. No, I can't. It's being funny right now, but. Oh, whatever. So it's kind of a way you could do it, but they do it in a funny way where it's not. They do Soul. Oh yeah, you want that, but it doesn't change the rate, so it always bothers me because I wish Jupiter, if you switch the pair, the order, it would switch the rate you could buy, but it's just in the other way, so it's kind of more difficult to put in limit orders. And you can do it. I think it's there. Just you can't. There's not much size. That's where it kind of becomes a little odd. And you guys probably already know. You could do it with a lot of other pairs too. That's why it would be pretty fun to see some other charts. But yeah, I think generally it's just a liquidity thing, and there's not being enough BTC on Soul to really. Get people to do it, but there might be some other reason that I'm missing, but I think it's really just that. Sweet. Let's do the BTC, unless there's any other kind of charts you guys wanted to check out there.
Kira's pumping.
What's going on? Oh, what's up, Kira? Nice.
Nice. Are you trading meme coins on Sol?
Trading meme coins. Let's see which ones a little meme coin wallet. Yeah, I probably gonna wreck myself, but hey. I did this little Elgato one, and I think I did it because the bet was if it breaks that little damn, zoom in here. Probably. Anyways. I guess for me the bet was if it was gonna break through this guy, and then just shoot up to the all-time highs and get like a quick little 5x or something.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Or I just get rugged and it probably doesn't have enough strength to go here, so it'll probably go down 50%. But that's usually the ones I like to do are ones that are kind of revved up, and I don't put a lot into them either, so I'm not like putting a rack in there and hoping to make it. So for me, they're just kind of fun little gambles like that. If they're in a position where it looks like it shoot off, cool.
Yeah.
Which ones that everyone likes the Motai, but for me, I didn't. Coulda, woulda. Right down there.
I bought right down there.
That's one of those things where I was looking at it, I was checking it out, but never really went through with it. So happy for everyone. It went up, but at this point, it's kind of the same thing. It could go higher, or it could just go back down. I think Sile dropped a little thing in a DGen chat. There was like a little call, a long call around that 17 zone. So that could be another place of support there for it. But with these kind of coins, THOR is pretty crazy, and I found that out really well with the Gecko coin. Sometimes you're like, going for it, and it kind of works, but the movement there is a lot more coarse, and I think that's just because, oh hey, that's nice. It's just I don't know, the volume's different. There's probably less orders in the book, or something along those lines. That's why I love trading, and especially when you're doing like stocks and stuff. THOR is really good with those high market cap stocks over like the biotech ones. And same thing with your coins, either the shit coins or the little penny stocks of the of the crypto world. And then so when you got these other like large market cap things, I feel like there's just more data for it to extrapolate on, and that's a big thing. So BONK falls into that category too, I think. It's pretty good. It's a coarse one for me too. It gives me ideas, but it's hard to like leverage it, be so confident in it that I'm gonna put a little extra into it. Some of them make sense, but a lot of times you see like 50. Oh, it's cut back on all the cool. Yeah, BONK's settled down. It used to have like 7 calls on the shorts in one time frame, and that gets confusing. But hey, I like it. There's that we got a call for short at the 3, and longing at the low 20s. Yeah, that's a good little range. Yeah, if it ever gets down to low 20s, I would just try to hold it. You could hold it for a long time, but hey, I would just try to make that little scalp there, because I don't know if it would go back down if it the short would hit. Oh, that's not even a big range to go down, so I wouldn't be tripping on that. Let's see. Yep, I think ran through a bit of those. I think, unless anyone wanted to look at some more of the THOR calls, I think we could kind of look into our liquidity pool we started last week. Just a better example of how it's progressing and how to monitor it, Let's see. All right. Sweet. So now, total deposit is, I think we I forgot, it was like 190. Oh yeah, there it is. There it goes. Record it. What is it? Sorry, that's. Be more organized with it, of course. Oh shoot. Oh yeah. Withdrawal. So now to check on it, I just do withdrawal max if you're using Meteora. Then I would record it. So you got 10.66 Kira and what was that? 93 XDC. Just simple pool stuff, and that's coming out at 189. That's point. We'll just say 190. It's 4 cents off. And then, well, damn, things are changing. Because Kira's pumping, so it kind of it was. I was looking at it earlier when it was like 7 cents, and it was going to be a good example on what happens when you started higher and then the price dropped like 30%. But everyone just had to ruin it and pump it another 20% there. But hey, that's okay. But that's kind of a cool little notion, anyways, to look at. So to continue recording, we're at, we'll say 90 cents. So we are a cent lower than last week. And then for me, what ends up happening is to kind of see where you're at with stuff. Got. So we have an additional. So I'll just put the surplus here for this notarizing. So you have a surplus of Kira. So in my pool, it's actually less Kira, you know. And we have $93. So the way I look at that is 2, and then you have a, what's that? So your $7, your value went down, $7 in the pool. You have an extra, what is that? 131 Kira, and then, sorry, we're less $3 on that. So how I look at that again, you could, just to make it more sense, in a perspective I like to take is, I take, what is that, would be 3 divided by 131, and you find out how much you purchased that Kira for. Or, like my situation, my pool started at 1.5 cents. So I have a different ratio. I have to look at it as I've sold Kira for X amount. And my average, even though you're down like 20 or like 20k Kira on the pool, my average for selling that is 35 cents a Kira. So for me, I don't really have to worry about impermanent loss until we break the 35-cent zone, and that's really cool. So I got an average there for me, and what we're looking at for this example is we found that we've purchased 131 Kira at 2 cents each. So the pool, this way helps me look at it as I've either sold a coin for a certain amount, and if I don't like the amount I'm selling it for, I should probably leave the pool. If you don't like how much you're buying assets for, you should probably leave the pool. And why this is so advantageous, like how did you buy it for 2 cents? How did you sell it for 35 cents? That's because it's gaining those fees. And I think last week, oh shoot, I should have saved that information too. I think we're either at 1.8 on the virtual price there. So it either went up around like 8%, and so that's what helps offset that is you're buying and selling, and with those profits you've made from fees, it subsidizes how much you've either purchased or sold it for. And so if you are under the price you've entered in a pool, you are up Kira, and if I'm above the price you entered, I'm down Kira, up USDC. So it's just a nice way I like to look at it. And again, if the price of Kira was running below like 2 cents, I would be concerned that I was buying it for 2 cents, right? I would be concerned that I'm getting not a good buy rate. You know, you could have just market bought that and been better off. This tells me at current market rates, I'm above, and that's great health. That means the pool is doing what it needs to do, and I'm making profits every day, or, you know, every day, but you're making profits since the genesis of the pool. And that's something to keep an eye on. Sometimes you can look at health, but vast price movements and stuff can change that. But I think that's a good note to have, like a good way to look at it if you haven't had that before. And again, that's just pretty much finding, though, you know, you reduce, you find if you're less or above on the Kira, or USDC or whatever coins you have, and then you could just divide that by each other. You get the USDC divided by the Cura, and you should find your rates. And that's a little math, but hey, it goes a long way to make sure that you are not screwing yourself.
Yeah.
Any pool.
So you had 3 more USDC than before, or how does the streak came from?
Sorry. Okay, my bad. Yeah. Just
So
try to...
you 131 Kira is because you have no more Kira than before, right?
Yeah, and then so
Yeah.
exactly. Oh shoot, I messed this up a little bit, but yeah, I put $96.4 in, and it reads as, I know the chart will be changing if Kira's pumping, but 93. I said like 93. So 93 minus what I started with, and then I have that, and then minus what I started with, or whatever makes sense for that, and then then you could divide that out and see. So you could kind of see how much. So you're down $3, but you're up 1,000. How much did you spend on that 1,000? That tells you your rate. Or
okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then same thing, vice versa. So like for me, I started at say started the pool at 1 cent. So like, geez, like 90, just plenty lower. And I've gone up, so. It's when we were shooting up, I was kind of concerned because my rate was about like 115. It just shot up, so my pool didn't have enough time to get fees. So if we kept pumping, the price action would have well surpassed what I could have been getting my Kira for. And then you're kind of bummed because it pumped way fast and you didn't get what you wanted. That's why doing this kind of price action is actually really healthy for people in pools and stuff, because it needs to go down, but through this whole time it's just doing volume and it's reacquiring those assets with fees, and then if it goes back up again, it's just a bit more healthy for liquidity providers. I think this works out in that way. But yeah, for me, like I was saying, I started the pool at 1 cent, and then I was selling it. The math came out that I was selling up here. So the rate is almost, well above. And then if we do shoot up past 135, like right now or something, if it went to 40 or 45, that's when I start going, oh, I'm not getting all that I could have got. But I was just trying to share that people were worried about it dumping, or sorry, not dumping, but like pumping too hard. And in my experience, I went super heavy in these lower zones, like almost put like throughout pools and stuff like 100,000 Kira plus or something like there, and then it goes up and you only down 30 or 20. So the full range is definitely in action. That's what I got to see, and it's definitely really nice. I've been stoked about it. I know volume has died a bit. It wasn't the 100,000, 200,000 that we're getting on the big pumpy days, but it still is either at a half. I've been watching them. They're Orca and Meteora have been sitting at 0.5% a day to 2% a day, and that's really awesome for just having your assets sitting there. So the pools are great at the moment, so it's in good health.
And you can look at the virtual price, and when when last week it was at 1.7 and now it's at 1.8, then I have 10% profit.
Yeah,
right?
Generally, I'm trying to figure out that math a bit more, but that's a good way. I think that's what I've been looking at it as. So and it kind of tells you the rate it's going up is also really good, because that means the pool's making fees. If it starts slowing down, the fees are slowing. Yeah, so it's a kind of a good indicator when I see it moving up quick.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
We can now here see that the 24-hour fee was $500. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. $500
Yeah.
a 24-hour, yeah.
Is
So-
this all I earn? No, right?
No. So I wish that'd be great, but that's what the pool has earned. And I think I said this before 13. Yeah, it's okay. It's not too far off. It's just not a lot of volume right now, but it's done 12,855 volume, and since this is a 4% pool, you get 514 in fees in Kira or USDC, and then that is then split amongst it. So let's just say this is 100,000 total value locked, and you had 10,000 in there. You would get that means you have 10%. You own 10% of the pool, thus meaning you get 10% of the fees that day. You know. So yeah, this if I had $10,000 in this pool, I'd get about $51.4 value in this day, in the last 24 hours. And then so you could do that math with if you have 1,000, 5,000, you could see what the percent you own against the pool is, and then you take that percentage and use it on your fees. And that's again how I kind of look at how much fees I'm getting in a day too. I wish that'd be a cool UI to have, but but yeah, it's simple little things.
And is this all you earn, or comes that something more to it?
No, some pools they do have some kind of yield, or they offer like some kind of incentive for you to join. So a lot of times maybe some of those meme coins will have like, hey, they want liquidity, so whatever the meta is, they'll offer, hey, we'll give you, the pool gets 1 million of these coins every week, and then those 1 million coins are split up amongst the pool. So those are usually rewards. You'll see those in some pools. They try to incentivize their pools, but now that looks like the Cyberfrog treasury has been emptied and distributed. I thought maybe we would see something like that, some more liquidity pool action, but looks like it's totally on the community right now. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool. See that and see.
Want to take a brief, just because I've been following Ada and Dot. It's funny you mentioned you like injective and render. I haven't traded render, but if it trades anything like injective, then it's funny because I typically stay away from injective due to PTSD.
Oh yeah.
But
change this.
But yeah, I'm pretty much trading Cardano and Dot right now. But as far as Ada go, well, let's see.
Oh, you're rocking ADA, huh? Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like the price movement. It's it's readable. It's not real aggressive, and it's, to me anyway, it's a lot easier to gauge like the direction sooner than like an injective that can be a bit fast, or even Dot sometimes can be faster than Ada. But yeah, Ada's like a boomer.
Yeah, it is. Hey, it's good to see. I remember last time I looked at it, damn, it was just at like 23 cents, so that's cool. That's nice that popped up a little bit. Yeah, damn. I guess it's not on a bunch of decentralized stuff, so that's probably where I haven't hit it up too much. But yeah, that's pretty fun on that one. That's what do you got?
Looks like it might take some time for that top 4 hour to play out.
Yeah, let's see. dodge.
given the amount of action in between.
No, not that. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Dregz.
Oh yeah, appreciate you. Let's see.
Rinder.
Rinder. Yeah, number 41. 77. What's up? Yeah, that seems, man. Yeah, Thor's pretty boss. 41. Yeah, see, I do like that. The 41. They got a 1 day that also stacks up on the. Which I probably, yeah. It's a good. Ooh, 34. Yeah, that'd be a good range. I'd probably just stick it up 36 and then somewhere high on that 1 day there too, like the middle of the bottom call and then the top of that long seems pretty fun. And I do like it when they stack, especially 4 hours when they stack up like that. It's really nice to see. And probably in that short term, yeah, you could see. I wouldn't. Yeah, since you said it's kind of slow and stuff, it probably would also be pretty slow to jump into
to hit the second.
Ones. Yeah.
So one thing I noticed, you kind of hit on the nail. Like even when there are stacked calls, like they typically, as far as like when I've been trading, it won't go and hit like the second entry unless like there's a liquid a fucking leverage cleansing in the market, which it just drops. But it's pretty slow with it.
Let's see, 64. Yeah, and then some of the ranges are kind of boring in it too. So at least in those lower time frames, I don't see much movement happening. So that's the reason why I would not be concerned with those calls. It's like it's gonna happen, whatever.
Yeah.
And that too. Yeah. That's looking at that real quick. Even that 1 hour goes with the 4 hour short. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, I think from looking at all that, that's probably what I would grasp, and watch that 38. Probably like something down there too, whatever that other lower call was. But that seems like if I were to make a little LP pool or something on this, I'd probably be doing it like this 57 to 77 there. But let's see, look at the RSI. It breaks down. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't looked at that in a while.
50-50 kinda.
Yeah, I would say a little 50-50, but I mean, I do like the 1 hour short seems to. I imagine it probably goes up, maybe before it goes down to that. But what would I? 59. Yeah. So and then, of course, then when I get questions, I always look at those invalidation lines too. That's 59, so that one we're all looking at is 59, pretty much 60, it's fine there. So yeah, I'd say if it breaks that invalidation line right there, then I'd probably not, it'd be confirmed that we'd probably go down before we go up. But also what would be interesting too is this could be another buy zone, just right at that spot, because just looking at the chart too, it looks like it kind of met some resistance there, support there, yeah, and jump back up even through there, maybe in a lower. So even if it does get invalidated, you could see it jump up, and if you did see that, cool. But yeah, I'd probably be more geared towards that bottom one if it went lower. But right now, I'd probably, just because of proximity, I guess it's. Like looking at that, I like looking at the validation line and that sometimes over the total buys too. Yeah, I would see if it bounced off that, and if it didn't, I would say you're on a mission down to the 41, and then the little dot. I like how there's a calls going on right now. It's nice.
Yeah, dude. There's been some printing of calls all day.
It's hard. Yeah, it is literally hard to keep up. That's why it is good to check other stuff too. But also, nothing beats getting to know the movement of a chart, because there's a bunch of other people and programs just doing what you're doing right now. Let's see. And the short and the similar ones there, the 8. Let's see, 10, 5. Oh. Yeah, 5, 3. 6. We got 1166 up there too. All right. So then again, the validation for that 1160 is 8.6. Yeah, and then, you know, boom. I feel like you'd be confident on buying some stuff right through there. Again, they're probably the shorter calls, and I didn't really check the range, but yeah, that might be a good kind of DCA thing. I wouldn't, again, the range isn't too wild for myself to jump in those calls, but if I did, these would probably be more a DCA tactic. When it dips down there, in my mission, I guess, would be to hit it up here again at that kind of short that was going about. But then you also have things looming in between. So again, if I had a bag and I DCA'd it there, I would probably TP, use some of these guys as a TP, like the 1024, you know, or probably the 1012 or something as a nice little point. Kind of TP at there, and just make that a TP point there too. But like everything, I have my zone, and then if I use drift or something, I'd probably just bring it down a little bit. I bring that like top down, just bring it down a couple cents so I can hit it, especially when they're peaking out, because I might be asking for too much from a certain DEX. But yes, just throwing those in, got the invalidation line.
I feel ya.
Yeah.
I feel ya. I'm also using drift.
Yes.
Tough sometimes.
Very tough to see, yeah, those perfect little lines you had get wicked down through and not filled. It's always something special. But yeah, for me, again, like, you know, that's a good buy there. The ranges were kind of weak, so I would be buying. The reason I'd be buying these would be to get to the 1013 or 1157, but of course hitting that zone there, 8.6, if I broke that down, then I'd be more keen on being aware for this one through there at 5.3. But again, oh dang, to make this invalid, it has to go above, yeah, it has to break this peak line there, that local top.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So in the short frame, yeah, you got these, and it could bounce around, like kind of do what it's doing here. That kind of makes sense in the shorter frame. If a scalp trade, yeah, that'd be good, and then maybe gets up there. But if I lost my confidence, there's no harm in just taking your points and moving it down a little bit, because sometimes that just makes more sense. Sometimes it doesn't hit as high if it's losing the steam, but it did get like so close. That's why I don't know, have PTSD from missing
So
those.
that's why you typically hit them for middle,
Yeah.
for the middle of the entry.
Yeah,
I try to go for either like the top or like bottom, but what you're saying is definitely something to keep in mind. Like when
Yeah.
it loses steam, it might not. And I've been getting comfortable with that, so probably a good idea not to be so comfortable.
Yeah, because it's always things are always in motion. You know, it's the market's a little river, and things change. So what you were looking at one point, you can look at the same thing the next day, and a different variable has been entered. And now what we saw 2 days ago, and we're going off of that information, there's new information to make another short-term call. So yeah, it's kind of hard to read, and that's why sometimes, like every couple days, I like to like check on trades. I try not to be too involved into it. You know, it's a good practice to not be like just sucked into it all the time. But hey, things do change, and that's why I like to check the health or see if there's any shorter time frame calls on my longer bags, or like if I was trying to get that up to 11.7 set, or like 17. I'd be aware of these kind of shorter time frames getting in my way. And so how can I make the most of it? Like, you're not going to change what probably is going to happen. So even though I wanted to get it up there, I might change the percentage I'm unloading at these other TP points that I've made. And then back what I was mentioning before, hitting something in the middle, I do like to pick a number. I do have that kind of interesting spread where something could be down there. I'll try to hit a higher one, but whenever I pick my number, I like to just kind of drag it down a little bit. So whatever I felt like I was set on, I almost want to lower it just a little bit or raise it if it's an entry. It's on entries, I'm a little more chill about it. Like I'll even post my trades rather than be a taker.